In honor of this year's presidential election, or today's presidential election, the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus counts down 10 songs about natural and not so natural disasters. Get ready to rock out with your talk out. It's the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Welcome back, everybody, to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. My name is Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini. And a special, very special Erection Day podcast.
Isn't that every day?
I'm feeling kind of erect, actually. I think I have an erection right now.
Oh, boy.
Rock and roll gives me a boner, man.
Me too.
So we got the cast, we got the usual cast of characters here. The Power Trio is in full effect. We've got Lily V6 from Rock Rage Radio.
We do. She's here.
Oh, we've got Keith the Hawk Hawkins down there with his Mara hat and his Britney Spears t-shirt. Make America rock again, right, brother?
That's right. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
That's right. It never does end. We just go constantly. You don't know this, but we're constantly sitting. It's all we do.
We haven't slept in years.
Yes.
When you're sleeping, we're sleeping too. I mean, we're working.
We see you when you're sleeping. Oh, I stopped doing that when the cops showed up and said I had to stop. Shout out to Wolf's Customs. Wolf's Customs. They make a custom finish on your guitar. Check him out, man. Chris Thunderwolf Dodson is a great dude. Knows his stuff when it comes to refinishing those guitars and mandolins and violins and all the other lins, even
Loretta Lynn.
Even Loretta Lynn. He will refinish your Loretta Lynn. And you're going to like it. That's what Loudini tell you. You're going to like it. But you can check him out at LouLombardiRocks.com. But in all serious, he does great custom finishes on musical instruments. It's a great way to help you stand out whenever, whatever type of gig you're doing, especially today, doing all these online things like that. Check him out, wolfscustoms.online.
I'm going to interject real quick. He does have a new merch store on Redbubble, he says, too.
Redbubble.
Yes.
Redbubble.
Redbubble. Boy, we have merch, too, and I'm really bad about promoting it. That's my 2021 resolution, is to get my shit together on the merch.
I'm setting your stuff up that I have at the show this weekend.
We have to get it all organized, and you and I we'll all work on that. And Rock Rage Radio, go to rockrageradio.com. Check them out. Great guitar-driven rock 24/7. If you want to know more about what we got going on here and all the fun stuff we do, please go to LouLombardiRocks.com. I'm trying to change the name of the Facebook group to better match up with everything we're doing. And Facebook said, you cannot change your Facebook group there for 30 days. So I'm like, ugh. So there's a like a meh group out there that we're going to be moving everybody away from soon. So stay tuned. That'll probably be happening around the end of the month. Thanks for giving time. We have Keith the Hawk Hawkins. What's going on, Hawk?
I just think that the world and everything is it's going off the rails on a crazy train. But the reason for this podcast, if you must know, is that I did survive my first hurricane this past weekend. It was some windy stuff, and
windy stuff.
It was more intense than I thought, but we soldier on. So the only casualties were a couple trees, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. I saw that Keith has shared a video of the fence in your backyard, man. It was looking
that's
like
my
a
neighbor's
piece of
fence,
paper.
and he's put that up 3 times now. Even without a heavy wind, that thing fell down a couple times already.
So we're lucky.
That's what I call. That's called the New Orleans half-ass.
So if Diesel goes out there and takes a whiz against it, it falls down.
It could be possible if he has a big enough fit. Yeah.
Oh man, so you guys are okay. I got one of the guys that works for me. He's running down there. I guess he's got family down there, and I guess where they were, they got hit pretty good. So he's running down there to help him out.
I know some people in Mississippi that got it pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Like there was an actual somebody had a picture on a local like site, and I think it was on one of the Mississippi News sites or something. It was a boat in a McDonald's parking lot, and I don't think they were there for the Happy Meal. That thing just ended up there.
You mean they don't have a? You know what I mean? You mean the McDonald's doesn't have a row through? How do you like that? See what I did there? A row through. And that
you just don't usually see that kind of
just...
behavior from a boat in the ocean. You know, it usually stays in the ocean.
Oh my goodness! So we're talking about Disastrous Songs, and this is a kind of like, I don't know, like this is pretty open, right? Sure. You don't want to talk about that? What do you want to talk about?
Oh no! I'm agreeing with you that it's open.
I'd be happy to go back and talk about Halloween again.
I went to Fright Farm for Halloween.
Oh, how was that?
It was fun.
Was it good?
We took the hearse squad down.
Was it pretty crowded?
Nope.
Really?
Not at all. It was not crowded at all. No lines.
I've been in a terrible funk for a while.
Hey, let's talk about that before we get into disasters.
And,
Speaking of disasters, what's your life, man?
And I've been in a terrible funk, and so I thought about going to that. Then I said, nah, it's gonna suck. And I've
just cold.
I've just been sitting at home, looking at TV, playing some guitar. I have a show on Friday night. I don't know, some gig maybe you heard of.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm playing this thing. It's this, I don't know, this crazy lady. Her name's Lily V6.
You're such
It's
a
her
jag.
200th radio show anniversary. Or what is it?
It's my 200 show celebration.
And,
all weekend long.
And it's a big rock festival. It's going to be 3 days of rock.
Celebrating me.
And I thought we were kicking the thing off, but there is a band before us.
It's just a guy by himself.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. We go on at 6:35.
Will be a live
not
stream?
a second before.
No live stream or just live streaming?
I'll be live streaming it on my page.
All right.
So you'll be able to see some of it.
So yeah, we're gonna go on. We're Smooth Gooch this year. Last year we were 20,000 metal dicks.
If you decide to come Saturday, Suwaka will be there Saturday.
Suwaka. I've been wearing my Burger Kill shirt all week. That's first day I took it off.
Yeah, it's 3 days for my 200 show celebration. There's going to be the pre-show's Thursday, a couple bands that day, and then the big days are Friday, Saturday. We have T-shirts. The drinks are super cheap. There's going to be some food. I have cake coming.
Or the cheaps are super drunk.
Whatever. All the same.
Yeah, cake the band. That's awesome.
Not that. No, just actual cake. Food.
Are you going the distance? Are you going for speed?
Yes, shut up.
Actually, a very cool band. They don't sound like anybody. Who sounds like Cake? Nobody.
You know, Cake blew my mind. I went to Keith, before you jump down my throat, because I know how much you love the Counting Crows. I went to see the Counting Crows. Cake was the opening act. And
really?
They were so good. I was completely sold. I was like, this band is amazing. And I bought their next 3 records when they came out. I was a big Cake fan for a few years.
Did you ever hear that version of I Will Survive they did? That's pretty funny.
Have you ever heard their version of War Pigs?
I did, yeah. That guy just has that monotone, but it's kind of it's funny because it's like they can really play, but that whole vocal, I don't know if you want to call it a gimmick, that's just his thing, you know. There's some bands that you just they groove really hard, but they just have an interesting vocal style. Now, I'll get back to the Counting Crows, the Counting Crows we have a little disagreement about. If they would have another singer, it would be great. The band's solid. That dude just is not a good singer for me, man. He's not a singer for my ears. And yes, I do love Geddy Lee, but I just can't take that dude's voice.
That the guy from Cake, and it's terrible. We should know the guy from Cake's name. We'll just call him the guy from Cake, Mr. Cake. He has this sort of what would you call that? He's singing in a kind of I could care less if I'm even in a band. I'm just sort of whatever.
It's basically he's talking. I mean, I don't even know if you want to call that singing at this point. I mean,
it's just very non-committal, but
yeah,
it works.
It's very monotone, sort of
post-grunge singing.
Yeah, I'm going to sing like this, and it's going to be that I Will Survive.
But their version of War Pigs is good. They give it a good groove. It's got a kind of funky kind of groove to it. It's very, very cool.
Oh yeah. That's a cool band for sure.
Yeah, over the years, right? Rockers have done a lot of music about a lot of different things.
Yeah, all the things.
So it just seems appropriate, given today is Erection Day. Yes, I'm making a racist joke. Get over yourself. Grow a sense of humor. Thank you. all you woke focus, for all you woke, it's a rock Sunday. Get over yourselves. So we're going to be talking about disasters.
My whole life.
Yeah. So that was like basically there's some bands whose whole career was a disaster. One disaster after another, whether you like it or not. Britney Spears.
I was in Texas when she went off the deep end.
She did, man. She showed the whole world her vajayjay.
I was in Austin, Texas when she shaved her head. I was watching it. I was taking notes. I was there for work.
Her and Melissa Etheridge, but they shaved their heads for different reasons.
Yeah, Britney just went nuts.
Melissa had the C word.
Yeah.
You know what I say about that whole thing with all those rock stars going crazy? Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine, a hell of a drug. I quote Mr. James on that quite often, actually.
That's good because you know what? That's an iconic quote and a very iconic sort of like sketch in history.
I know, it's amazing. I mean, he said that though. I mean, I don't think that was a sketch. I think he was being serious.
No, that was the real Rick James. It wasn't like they were like putting like Dave Chappelle was playing him in the other part of it, but that was the actual Rick James in that whole sequence, and it was pretty funny. He's
amazing. He's amazing. Rest in peace. So, what do we got on our list for these disastrous songs, Lily? Keith, you go first. Damn it, Lily always just because she's got giant boobs, she thinks she can go first all the time. So
that's how it works.
We're starting with Keith.
That'll get you anywhere you want in life sometimes.
Well, there is that.
It gets me a lot of things.
There you go. See,
not gonna.
She hasn't paid for a drink since she was 15. I don't know.
Hey, and
Sounds
you guys
accurate.
get on me about slurring my words when I drink, but I was listening to Rogan today, and he was like, "God damn, it's the weed! It's the weed! It's the weed!" He was saying all kind of shit.
I got on you one time because you were obliterated.
Oh,
you didn't even know.
What's that word?
One time.
So we have some disastrous songs, and it's for a disastrous podcast on a very disastrous day.
Of my disastrous life.
If you're from the United States, it's a pretty disastrous day.
Yeah, that's why that shit just don't even matter, man. It don't even matter.
Oh God.
They just two pawns in the game, Holmes. That's all it is.
You're right, brother. So what do you got, Keith? Let's start with the Hawkster over there. What do you got, brother?
I'm gonna go with one that is known by another band, but it's a cover. But it's about a great flood, and it's called "When the Levee Breaks," and it's made famous by Led Zeppelin, but the actual songwriters, Memphis Minnie and Kansas Joe McCoy, actually wrote this song way back in 1927 about their true experiences in a great flood in Mississippi and what they went through. And the lyrics just are basically reflecting on what they went through in a big flood. So there's a lot of songs about floods. You'll probably hear a couple more from me, but that's just, what are you going to do? They're out there.
This is a really iconic song, and what a lot of people do not know about Memphis Minnie is when the levee broke. This is a true story. She lost absolutely everything. I mean, like, these people were, these are people that were people of the land. You know, they were like scribbling. They were doing whatever they could to get by hand to mouth. You know, working on this, working on that, doing whatever they could. And this thing breaks, and literally, like in 10 minutes, completely homeless, completely on their own, nothing, back to living almost like an indigenous person. And what these old blues tunes, guys, are really from the heart. A lot of them tell absolutely true stories, and this is an absolutely true story.
All those songs about heartbreak, man. All that old blues stuff, pre-rock and roll. You're talking just this is what these people knew in their lives. And
Keith, these folks grew up. Okay, you figure somebody like Memphis Minnie, Robert Johnson, these guys, yeah, they grew up during Jim Crow, but they got mom and dad were one generation out of slavery.
You're looking at that, yeah.
I mean, like, this is like
make that comparison. If you're
everybody
not that
today
far removed from that time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of people today that want to like boo-hoo and cry about their life and everything. But these were folks that like that was like a real thing that like grandma and grandpa, maybe even mom and dad, lived with, you know, and knew about. So that's why this music was, I think, so powerful and really kind of set, you know, pop music off. This blues stuff. And I think this is the power of people like Robert Johnson and Mississippi John Hurt and these folks that really, because they're telling you some shit. They went through.
Oh, they're giving you the facts, man. They just had their thing about it. They're putting their misery into song, man.
And I wanted to. This is something you talked about last week when we talked about Killers. You were talking about the lady who kept the slaves, and she.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got some more information.
Levee.
She had when they broke into that room upstairs. There was one dude that she had drilled a hole in his head.
Yeah.
And she stuck a spoon in there just to mix his brains up every once in a while.
Yeah, and he had maggots in there.
And the reason the girl lit the fire was because she fell out of favor, and she knew they told her she was going upstairs, and that's
she was
why
trying to commit suicide.
That's why, but that's why.
Yeah.
She lit the
No,
fire
I know.
because she's like, there's no way I could deal with this going upstairs shit. So when you hear these folks sing these songs, man, I mean,
they were actually hurting.
You know, right now, man, I'm going through some shit in my life. And, you know, maybe we all feel like we're going through some shit, man. But these guys went through some shit. So whatever you're going through, man.
You think about how bad you got it because you got, you know, maybe your favorite, even like younger kids, you know, you got to pay the goddamn cell phone bill on your own, or you got to pay car insurance, or your favorite Netflix and chill movie isn't on with you and your chick. It's just your life's not that bad, trust me.
Yeah. They didn't have no Netflix back in them days. Lily, what you got on your list, babe?
I'm going to put Nobody's Fault by Aerosmith from the album Rocks. So this was inspired by the fear of earthquakes. And in the 70s, earthquakes were like big in the news. Like in 71, the quake hit San Fernando, killing 65 people.
Oh, Nobody's Fault, like a fault line.
Yeah, Nobody's Fault. Yes. And then there was another earthquake in 72 that took the lives of about 5,000 people in Nicaragua. And then that Charlton Heston movie came out, Earthquake, in 1974. So, like, in the 70s, earthquakes were, like...
We loved earthquakes.
All the rage, I guess.
They was in vogue.
And then there was the one that was in the nuclear power plants in Jersey that were right on a fault line. So this was Steven Tyler sort of talking about how we're sort of ignorant to earthquakes, but maybe we should like pay attention to them. So great song, another sort of blues backgrounded band. Not quite like that, but you know the song, I'm sure. Nobody's Fault. Right. I love the song. Great. But he's sort of like warning people to not be ignorant to earthquakes as they were big at that time. Not that they're big and not big anyway.
Have you ever been in an earthquake, Keith?
No, but not to get too far off topic, but I think it's Testament does a really cool cover of that song.
Oh, dang,
I have to listen
dude!
to it
I gotta hear that. Got to hear that. They would.
Maybe hopefully somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Testament, but it's like one of the not the big four, but the other four.
The bottom four.
It's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those four. So
I'm telling you, I was in one earthquake in my life. We had an earthquake here in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, you get them. There's a fault line in Western Pennsylvania.
It runs like all the way down to like the Tennessee and stuff. It's huge. And the folks like more like towards the south area of the country got it harder, but you felt it up here, and it was in the 80s. I'll never forget it. It's unnerving because you feel like, because we're so used to the ground being solid. Mm-hmm. Right? You know, you walk on the ground.
Everything's normal.
But when the ground is like not solid, it blows your brain. Like, and at this point, I wasn't smoking weed or anything like that. And it was just, it's just really a crazy thing. You guys really need to experience it.
Well, we had that little like shake that happened like maybe 10 years ago. And I stood up. I was at work. I was working at Green Tree then. I stood up and I kind of moved and I'm like, oh, I must need to eat. And then I go outside because I thought I was woozy. I go outside of the office and they're like, did you feel the earthquake? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, I guess that was a thing. I really just thought I was woozy.
I have a friend who lives in California, and she's just like it's a whole way of life out there. Like you secure, like the way they like put the knickknacks on the shelves and everything. In the house.
It's like
they've got like
it's in such a way.
They got to do. They've got like special shit they got to do so that like because they're just prepared. They just know. Like people that have stuff on balconies and everything, you know, they got to like just the way you set it up. You got to put it in such a way that like
it's safe.
Yeah, this doesn't because like you could come up the next day and everything could be smashed.
I've seen the San Andreas fault, but I haven't experienced an earthquake.
You know, I've just been through a hurricane, so I'm good now. And natural disasters, I don't want to see no more shit.
I was in a hurricane once.
We had a do you remember? You guys are from this area. Do you remember when the tornado touched down up by South Hills Village?
What about the one that?
No, I remember the one on Mount Washington.
Really?
I was sitting in traffic when the one hit on Mount Washington. I mean, it did a little bit of damage, but I remember the traffic was backed up. I was working at a hospital way far away. It was like an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. And as I was driving back into town, it was getting around rush hour, but it came through there and started jacking stuff up. And then everybody had to either, you know how that goes, everybody got to stop and look at it like it's a car accident. So they go, look at the tornado, Mom. That kind of thing. So.
There's nothing like a good, disaster to like, get the juices flowing for you.
Great.
I'm gonna. Can I say one? Ha ha ha! Please, can I say one? Please.
Yes.
Say one. I want to say one.
Go ahead. Raise your hand.
Wait, you actually have one? Okay, go ahead.
Ooh, Mr. Cot's here.
Yeah, you in the back.
You should have been Horseshack for Halloween.
Wow. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna pick this is like a super obvious song about disasters, and it's the REM song. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. Now this.
That was about the bathing, I heard.
Yes, this is something that a lot of people do not realize about this song, and I'm going to tell you guys and I did link it. Here we are. Let's link it.
That song.
This has to do because Michael Stipe was a debater in high school. Now check this out. The song is written about a policy in a debate. What's the matter? What's the matter?
These dogs stink, man. They fart all the time.
Oh, God. See, I'm doing my part, and all of a sudden, Keith's got to steal the show with his dogs farting. You see how this is?
It's not me. It's the dogs. I swear.
We got to find a way to put smells out on a podcast.
I don't think that's a thing.
This is a natural disaster.
You need smell-o-vision.
Anarchy. This is like a peaceful protest going wrong in my house.
Let's do this. Let's bottle that, and we'll sell it as merch. You can buy Keith's dog farts.
Oh, boy.
So check this out. The song is written about a policy in debate tournaments. The line, "It's the end of the world as we know it," refers to the habit of high school and college debaters to claim that any course of action agreed upon in the debate round will lead to nuclear war or some other catastrophe that will cause the end of the world. And I Feel Fine reflects the fact that everyone realizes it's just an extracurricular activity and nobody really gives a crap. The line, "Listen to yourself churn," is another slang word for spewing, the act of debaters reading and making their arguments as quickly as possible. So that's called spewing when they try to rapid fire those points. The line, "The world serves its own needs, dummies serve your own needs," reflects the attitude of debaters, especially high school debaters. We're going to argue anything, even if they do argue something morally reprehensible, so just to sort of serve their purpose or get their point across. The most obvious reference to debate tournament is the line, a tournament of lies. And that's what really kind of these debate tournaments are. It's just about winning over. So, is that all the song is about? No. But
it's a great tune. I really like REM. I think that the one myth is that Michael Stipe wrote. I think James Carville wrote it, the Raging Cajun himself, and I think that those two got together and wrote that song.
The Raging Cajun, James Carville. Who remembers? Wow. Speaking of presidential elections, right? There's a blast from the past. James Carville.
That's a big liberal there. He's still pounding the campaign trail for whatever.
Is he really? I have not heard.
It was just in Florida.
Really? I did not know that.
Everything weird goes on in Florida.
Hal Aaron says the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus Smell-o-rama.
Smell-o-vision.
Okay, so
wow.
Yeah, we had Hal on as a guest host a few weeks ago. Go back and check that out. It was a lot of fun. So who's next? Keith. Keith.
Yes. We're
you
going to
got?
stick with the, this one's kind of a double-edged sword because this guy's lyrics, so sometimes I can't decipher it quickly. But it's the band is told, the writer-singer is Maynard James Keenan. Is it, I've heard it pronounced a couple ways. Is it Enema? Is that how it's pronounced?
That's how I say it.
Enema.
I don't think it's enema. I mean, is it enema? That's how it's spelled? I don't know. Anyway, it's the title track of the album. If you're going to talk about earthquakes, I think this song describes a lot of natural disasters going on, but at the same time, I also think it's written about the disdain for Los Angeles itself from Maynard James Keenan, because even some of the lyrics in it, some say the end is near, some say we'll see Armageddon soon. Then it switches to, I certainly hope we will. I sure could use a vacation from this bullshit 3-ring circus sideshow of a freak show here in LA. So that's basically what he's saying. And then he goes on to just do his Maynard thing. So after that, it's kind of, the lyrics kind of just set a natural disaster tone. And as like a great, if you listen to the song itself, the great like drum rhythm is almost very like earthquake-ish itself. So I mean, so that song has maybe a few different messages to you, but I mean, he's using it in a very probably metaphoric kind of way, like he does. But it's about California, especially the LA area, snapping off and like doing its thing, which is crashing into the ocean, or in this case, Arizona.
What is when was this song released? Do you know? You got a date on it? Anybody got a date on that?
The Tool song?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, they had so much time between their albums. It was that album had to be probably late 90s, 2000, early 2000s, maybe.
Give me a second.
When was the big? Remember the big earthquake? When the people were on the bridge? Do you remember that? I'm making a hand for those of you just listening.
1996.
Okay. And the bridge, the cars and the top of the bridge collapsed and smashed all the cars. So I kind of wonder if he was referring to that, because that was traumatic. I remember being in my dorm room in college and seeing that on my little Magnavox television or whatever I had, and just being like, holy crap.
I think about that every time I go over a bridge. I get
Really?
scared.
Literally
I get scared. I'm like, is this bridge going to crumble while I'm sitting here? That would suck.
I mean, that was really freaking, that television. I always think about that television because I saw so many things. Like I saw the Berlin Wall come down on that TV too.
Well, I was too young.
You were too young for that, but that I saw that. But I remember watching that. And check this out. I was my roommate next door to me. I had this really cool roommate for a couple of years, Frank Yost. He was a really cool dude. But then I got this douchebag. He was like a. I should say, I respect our military and stuff, but I think this guy was he was a kind of a jock and stuff. And he had family in California, and I was in my room practicing. I was playing very, very quietly. And he came over and banged on the door because he was talking to his family in California during the earthquake. And I was like, fuck you, asshole. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Lord, I apologize. So what do you got next, Lily?
I'm going to go with Riding the Storm Out by Ario Speedwagon.
Oh, you stole mine.
I'm sorry.
You bitch.
Oh, bite me. Inspired by the incident when the band was on tour in Colorado. Got a really bad snowstorm, one of my most favorite things in the whole world. Kevin Cronin says that he and Richrath were trying to mess with their tour manager and said they got lost, but then the snow really got bad and then they really got lost. So that was what actually happened. Apparently it was a pretty dangerous situation. They had to ride the storm out, so this was the inspiration for the song, and they wrote the song a couple days later after the mishap.
Okay,
so.
let me kind of make a couple of amendments to your story.
Go ahead.
This is on an album of the same title.
Yes.
That Kevin Cronin did not participate in except for one song.
This is correct.
They worked with a different singer, Mike Murphy. Was that his name? Matt Murphy? No, not Matt Murphy. It's Mike Murphy. In any case, it's also, the song is slightly metaphoric for Richrath's crazy alcoholism. In the beginning, it was a good time. You know how it is, right, Keith? You got the guy in the band who's a real partier, and he's fun, right? But then it gets
So he collapses on stage.
Exactly. It becomes too much. But at this point, it was still fun. And they were having a good time. And they got stuck. And what pulled Richrath through was the fact that he had booze. And he knew that he could party. But Cronin is not credited as a writer on the song. Almost the entire album is credited to Gary Richrath. They did do a Kevin Cronin song, but he didn't sing on it. And there's a Stephen Stills song on this album that Stephen Stills never recorded himself, but that Ario Speedwagon covered. The little known fact about this album. So, boom goes
the dynamite.
Or
the snowstorm.
That's good, buddy. That's good.
Since Lily stole my thunder, I'm going to steal hers because I'm pretty sure this is on her list. Rock You Like a Hurricane.
It is not on my list.
What? Get out of here. Come on.
I was actually going for more songs actually about disasters.
Well, wait a minute. This does actually have...
It does have the word hurricane in it. That's all I was looking at. You're like, do you have a backstory?
It does have listen.
There's a hurricane in it.
Yes, the song is a sexual metaphor. Okay? But what people do not know... Keith, maybe you know this because you're living in that area now, but they're saying that a lot of...
Germany?
When they play... When you've got a hurricane coming through on the Gulf Coast, the radio stations apparently... play this as they announce what counties should evacuate.
That happened in Florida.
They play this.
When I lived in
Miami, that's definitely that's
to
a
get
thing.
people kind of like excited,
The one rock station in Miami played it all the time.
I mean, there's not the song is not anything deep, so like just forget that. It's what it's about. It's a sexual metaphor, but.
Doing the dirty.
Hey, this is the great thing about a great song is that people will kind of like adapt it or adopt it to whatever works for them. And they have done this with this song. So whenever there's a crazy hurricane coming through, like on the Gulf Coast, the rock stations will kind of use this as a kind of bumper as they're talking about what counties need to evacuate, etc. Also, this is oddly, and some people call it a ripoff of their first big single, No One Like You. If you're a musician, and you've learned to play these two songs on the guitar, they're eerily similar.
Yeah, I can hear that, and I don't even play guitar.
When I remember like learning both of these songs, and sort of like thinking that like "Rock You Like a Hurricane" is a kind of like let's do "No One Like You" only like a little better, and now it's MTV time, so we'll make a cool video. It's like they didn't get around to doing it during the MTV era. So let's make "Rock You Like a Hurricane." If you're a musician, if you're a guitar player, sit down and work the song out if you've never done it, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Very similar chords, progression, especially like when the chorus kicks in. Fun song, of course. Great video.
Yes.
The guy that directed the video for "Rock You Like a Hurricane" also directed the video to "You Shook Me All Night Long" and some other big rock songs from that era.
That's such a cheesy video.
"White Wedding" by Billy Idol. Fun track. Just want to throw it out there real quick. So what do you got? Who's next? Keith.
I got one that everybody knows, and it's it sounds like a happy little up-tempo number, but actually, if you read the lyrics, it's about bad things coming. It's Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
I had it on my list.
Earthquakes and lightning, all the natural disasters you want, and it says basically don't come around tonight because it's bound to take your life. Something bad's happening. There's a bad moon on the rise. I wouldn't say that's a positive song, but it does have a catchy little riff to it, and it's a classic rock staple. But if you listen to the actual lyrics, it's not about anything positive. So.
Wait a minute, I thought this song is about trying to find a restroom. Aren't the words, there's a bathroom on the right?
That's what you heard on drugs, but that's not the real words.
That's my pick on a podcast is I want to do misheard lyrics.
Oh, we got to do that. I can't believe we've never done that. We need to do a show on that.
I really want to do that one.
That's going to be good.
What is it?
Misheard lyrics and songs.
I can do that all day.
Yeah, there's a whole series of books called "Excuse Me While I Kiss This Guy."
Yeah.
It's like they're like bathroom books. They got like one thing on each page.
There's a lot.
They're fun. They're super fun. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a future podcast. I really need. Hey!
God damn it!
Calm them damn animals down.
She said, I brought you and your husband home before.
Why are you talking over the podcast?
Oh, sorry. Anyway,
hey, Samantha, what's up?
What's up?
hello.
Samantha has a new work schedule, so now she comes home and just, it's like, yo, we're going to bum rush the show, as they would say in the rap world.
Bum
and
rush.
This is her now.
She's allowed.
So I'm
Out
gonna
loud.
have to build a soundproof room or something.
You have a whole room in there you could be in.
That's none of your business.
All right. What do you got?
That's my answer to everything now. Anything she asks me, it's none of your business.
I'm going to go with Evanescence and the song Never Go Back from 2011. This song was inspired by the tsunami that hit Japan in 2011. When they got into pre-production, the earthquakes and the tsunami were happening in Japan, and the band just were totally glued to the TV the whole time, listening to all the radio and everything. And she decided to write lyrics to it. And when she sang it to her band, they apparently got goosebumps. They loved it, so they wrote all the song to it, or the music to it. And she felt like the human connection with the tragedy, and she was just totally consumed by this tragedy.
She is what? She's Asian or Japanese? She is part Asian.
I'm not sure what she
I'm
is,
almost
but
positive she is.
I think she's gorgeous. I think she's a great singer. Her voice is, I can't even explain it, but it's a great song. But it's about the tsunami and earthquakes that happened in Japan. So,
do we have any songs about Fukushima?
I do not.
Fukushima. Fukushima.
No.
you know what really caused Fukushima, right? It was Godzilla.
Such an ass.
It really was.
Godzilla's coming next. He's going to be here in December. That's the next disaster.
Speaking of Godzilla,
The actual Godzilla's coming. Where's he going?
That's our next disaster happening.
well,
He's taking out Tokyo again.
there was a meteor crash today.
Of course there was.
Well, now listen, it was like 13 inches or 18 inches. So Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about it. He was like,
I know guys that got bigger feet than that.
I knew he was going to say
Feet,
it.
I said feet. Lou, where's your head at?
in the gutter. I'm in the gutter every night. I'm going to talk about one.
I don't care.
Do it.
Go ahead, man. Come on. What is it?
This has several disasters in it. This is Gimme Shelter. Gimme Shelter.
I know that one.
By the Rolling Stones. A couple bizarre things about this. So first of all, this was written as they were kind of as Brian Jones was kind of coming on the outs, and he was present for the whole recording. He didn't play one thing.
Seriously?
On it. No, he doesn't play anything on it. Didn't participate in the song at all. And it is while it is this sort of Jagger sort of commentary on the assassination of Robert Kennedy, Black Power salute to African Americans at the Olympics, student protests, election of the communist leader in the Prague Spring, Vietnam, demonstration against the Vietnam War in London, student protests at Howard University, Washington, D.C., and the Black Panthers shootout with police in Oakland, Martin Luther King shot dead, and a bunch of other things that happened around this same time. It is also a song about their problem with Brian Jones and his severe problem with heroin. Mm-hmm. He just became completely non-functional. And there's a very good movie about it. You can find it. I believe it's on Netflix or Prime. You can check it out. Some interesting fact about another sort of mini disaster has to do with Merry Clayton, who is the female vocalist on the song. This is one of those things they were recording in Los Angeles, and somebody said, give me a female vocalist. And the producer was on the phone in 5 minutes. And they got Merry Clayton to come down and do the song. A couple of issues with Merry Clayton. First of all, when the song was released, eventually the album was released on CD, they spelled her name wrong. It's Mary, Meery, not Mary.
Really?
Yes. And also, she sang so intensely on this that when she got home, she had a miscarriage. So that's how, this is a dark song as it is. And it's about a dark topic. And it's tied to a very dark time in the Stones' history. And a woman had a miscarriage because she sang on it. That is some...
That's crazy.
That's like a triple whammy. Disaster song, if I ever heard of one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's some messed up stuff.
It is messed up.
All right.
You know, sometimes I don't feel bad for people, not the miscarriage part. The part before that, the name thing. Spell your name the right way, man. If everybody would spell it, if your name is Mary, spell it like how everybody knows it, M-A-R-Y. Not like the Christmas one. Spell it the normal way. When people talk shit and be like, "Oh, they spelled my name wrong," spell it the right way. If your name is Joe, it's Joe. That's it. Joe-O-E. That's it.
Joe-O-E. Joe-O-E.
Not J-O. It's J-O-E.
J-O.
It's Joey.
Yo, I'm J-O. DJ J-O.
I can't deal with you guys.
I'm DJ
It's bullshit.
Penis.
I don't feel bad for people like that. If your name is spelled a different way, that's too bad for you.
It is. It is too bad for me.
I'll spell it wrong in the check and it won't cash, Holmes.
Keith is going to tell us another song, but in the meantime, Lily is going to tell us who is saying hi to us and what on Facebook.
Who is saying hi to us? We have Chris Thunderwolf, Bill Damiano, and that is who we have saying hi to us on Facebook.
Wow, you bastards are you watching them stupid elections?
Everybody's freaking out over the election. Come to us and watch us.
Yeah,
we're way more fun.
What's going to happen is going to happen. You already voted.
That's all. You've done what you could do.
Remember, whoever wins, we lose.
There you
are.
It's
the truth. Think about it. As a country, we lose. No matter who wins, there's somebody's going to still be pissed off. Somebody's still going to break shit. They're going to do this. Somebody's going to get shot. COVID's still going to be there, and people are going to be snakes. So F them. Right there.
So anyways, chill out on that erection. Forget your erection.
Don't worry about that right now.
And come to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Zing.
See what I did there? Erection come.
Yeah, this is getting very pornographic.
What do you got, Hawk?
I'm going to go just a little obscure on your ass because I can't help myself. In 1995, the song was released, and I was listening to it, and I came up with a couple different things. The song's called Flood. The band is called Jars of Clay.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Like a Christian rock band. The backdrop of the song seems to me like it's talking a lot of about Noah and the 40 days with the whale and everything like that. Just the disaster in itself of biblical proportions. But at the same time, if you listen to it, it also talks about how I think Christians get tested in their own ways in their faith against sin. So it's metaphorically flood. Are you self-destructing, which is a disaster, or is it just a biblical thing? So you can take it. That's what the beautiful thing about a song is. It's like it's art. You can just, it means whatever you want it to mean. But that's what I've come up with in my own twisted mind.
That is a pretty twisted place.
You twisted, very twisted man, you. I want to, speaking of Jars of Clay, there's a great video, like a mini documentary on YouTube, and I'm sorry, I do not know the person's name or the channel or whatever, about Christian singers who either came out as gay or who came out and said, maybe we should be nice to gay people. And one of them is that dude from Jars of Clay. And he's interviewed in this and talked about how all he did was do a Twitter post like, hey, maybe we should take it easy on gay folks. They're dealing with some stuff and maybe we should be cool with them. And they went from world touring band to playing the bar down the street.
Howlers?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no longer open.
Subalpine. So it's a shame, but they really stepped in it. But it's a great. You can check it out. Just search it on YouTube about artists, Christian artists, and the gay thing. That is, I'm saying it completely wrong. Don't search it like that. Search it the right way.
You know what he's saying.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying.
I got you, boo.
You know what I'm saying. I got you. She got me. All right, Lily, Lily's going to give us the last one. Then we're going to talk about this day in music.
Well, I'm going to stick to the floods disaster that Keith was just talking about, but I'm going to go with Floods by Pantera. And it is also about
I thought you meant floods. I thought you meant floods like your pants.
Of course you meant that, or you thought that. This one's about a flood that ends mankind. Again, they're talking in the biblical sense, like in the book of Genesis, a.k.a. the Noah's Ark story, for those of you who don't know what the book of Genesis is. Yes, I actually do.
Living together, mass hysteria.
Here we go.
Genesis is touring in 2021, and goddamn it, I'm going.
Are they? I hope so.
That's what they say, yeah.
Anyway, this is one of the ones where Dimebag's
Only if
guitar
Biden's
solo.
elected. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, Lily.
Dimebag's guitar solo in this song was voted 15th best of all time by Guitar World magazine, and that put him in between Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page.
What?
Yep.
That's just crazy talk. I love Dimebag. I mean, I love the guitarist Dimebag Daryl.
I knew what you meant.
I don't say I like a Dimebag. I mean, like if somebody, like if a Dimebag showed up at my house right now, I would not be. It would be rude of me, right?
To deny.
To turn it down. You know, that'd be wrong.
It would be rude.
You know,
I love OZ. I love half OZ, quarter OZ. It's just say it like that. But do your hand like a rapper. I love half.
Do your
OZ.
hand like a rapper. What?
Keith does it better than you.
I'm gonna do my hand like a rapper.
0.5 OZ.
Wow.
Keith, do you do your hand like a rapper, Lily?
This
I
is
can't.
it right here.
I'm too.
It's almost like remove yourself, sir.
The dog's trying
Dogs
to
and cats in the
It's like
studio.
this. It's like you're doing a height thing, but you point it right here like this dude's short, and you just move it back and forth. Let me show you again. He's tall, then he's short. You move it back and
do it. I
forth.
can't do it.
Try it, man.
On this day in 1964, during a Rolling Stones tour, a 17-year-old Stones fan fell from a balcony during a gig in Cleveland, Ohio.
What?
The mayor of Ohio. There's no mayor of Ohio. Gee whiz! Somebody needs to proofread this crap. The mayor of Ohio. Who's the mayor of Ohio, Lily? That's what it says. The mayor of Ohio. Banned all future pop concerts.
I think they mean Cleveland.
I know. Such groups do not add to the community's culture or entertainment. The mayor of Ohio. It was worth it just for the mayor of
Oh my
Ohio.
god, your eyes are a mess.
What's the matter with your eyes?
I'm high. And she's fucking with
These
me.
eyes.
Oh my god, your eyes are bad.
I'm Chinese, man.
Okay, on this day in 1972, James Taylor and Carly Simon were married by a
About to
judge.
give me an egg roll.
Beginning their 11-year marriage, that evening, Simon joined him on stage in New York's Radio City Music Hall and announced their union to a cheering audience. Aww.
Then she wrote "You're So Vain" about him.
She wrote "You're So Vain" about it. And Mick Jagger sings on that.
I did
And
know
a
that.
lot of people thought that song was about Mick Jagger.
I heard that.
I've heard both. I've heard that it was about James Taylor. I've also heard that it was a big.
I heard it was about JT. JT would tell you that.
Joe JT.
Why? I don't know why he has to be vain.
What about
First
this?
scratching record
Have you ever
next
heard
week?
of these two guys, Keith?
What's that?
Daryl Hall and John Oates.
What about him?
Well, they on 1973 released "Abandoned Luncheonette." Most well-known track from that album was "She's Gone." Did not become a hit when first released, but gained momentum 2 years later when won by Lou Rawls and by the Tavares. After the latter covered the top of the Billboard R&B chart in 1974, the original was re-released and became a top 10 hit. Isn't that funny?
That cracks me up.
That's like one of those really oddball things in rock. During a concert in Empire Pool, Wembley, London, Elton John announced his retirement from live performances in 1977.
What? That's a little
I
premature,
know.
don't you think?
Do you remember the Who's Last? It was in 1984.
Yeah, well, we remember the freaking 25 tours that the Eagles did after they. Oh, we're just going to do this. one last
Everybody
tour.
does
That's
their
good.
25 farewell tours anymore.
I mean, the
Yeah.
Who though had the nerve to do Who's Last, and then like it went right back out on tour like a year later. Like,
right?
come on.
And the whole time it was called "This Tour's for Suckers."
Most non-heinous. This is a great a thing that came out in '84. Speaking of 1984, Paul McCartney went to number one on the UK chart with the film soundtrack "Give My Regards to Broad Street," featuring the number 2 single "No More Lonely Nights," which features amazing guitar work by David Gilmour. And those two ended up working together again. They did a a live concert, a DVD called Live at the Cavern Club, where the Beatles played many, many years before, and he brought David Gilmour along to play guitar with him on that. But do you know the song No More Lonely Nights?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great guitar work on there by excuse me, by David Gilmour as well. No, Keith.
Yo.
You were in Super Monkey, right?
Was I don't know. You tell me.
Was
that me? Was that really me?
In 1990, Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby became the first rap record to top the U.S. charts. Did you really know that? That was the first rap.
Really call that rap though?
Technically it was. And many years later, Super Monkey opened for Vanilla Ice. We did.
I wasn't on that.
Did you meet him?
No, we didn't get to meet him. He wouldn't talk to us.
That sounds right.
I was supposed to open for Tone Loc one time at the Oregon Bar and Grill where it was North Hills, and he got arrested the night before, so he couldn't play.
Tone Loc.
Yeah, he was supposed to. I guess he was hitting some shit. He got arrested in Cleveland, and we were supposed to open for him, and then the show got canceled. Because people didn't want to see Tone Loc in a small ass bar.
Okay, I got to say this in true.
It is Tone Loc.
In true rock and roller fashion, Keith, Iron Maiden frontman on this day in 2019 left his wife of 29 years to move in with a super fan 15 years younger. It's reported that the singer was now living with fitness instructor Lena Dolce at her Paris home.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Who are you talking about? I missed that. It was cutting out or something.
Bruce Dickinson left his wife of almost 30 years for a girl 15 years younger than him.
Oh, well, hey, that's how that goes for rock.
That's rock and roll, man.
You snap your fingers.
It is Bruce.
They just, hey, I'm the singer for Iron Maiden. Next thing you know, pennies are dropping left and right.
I want to wish a happy birthday to Adam Ant. Remember Adam Ant? Don't drink, don't do. What do? You don't drink, don't.
Shoes, man. Goody two shoes.
Yep. 1954. And that's probably it in terms of notable names in rock and roll. Happy birthdays. Not much going on in terms of birthdays, rock. But anyways, guys, so we need to pick an album for next week, right? It's the second week, isn't it?
It is the second week next week.
So think about it. We're gonna be picking an album. Keith, you gonna hang out for a little bit, or you gotta go?
I already got 2 albums for you to pick out, due to the fact that there's one thing that's eliminating, and if you're going to get a bunch of these shredheads, even someone like yourself who likes to solo, there's 2 albums I would like to review. It doesn't have to be next week, but sometime. 2 albums I think that are totally riff-based, that are awesome, that were successful albums. Either Helmets, Meantime, there's not one guitar solo in that whole song, but it's riffing as hell. You got to check it out. Unsung was the big track on that one, but just check out that album. Or Les Exorcisto, Devil Music Volume 1 by White Zombie, which is solos, very rare. It's just more riffs. It's a lot of but it's cool riffing.
Of course.
And those are 2 albums that are basically null and void of the guitar solo, but they still were successful, and they were still killer albums.
Well, I've been obsessed with White Zombie the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Obsessed.
Wow. So maybe we're onto something there. Billy Mank says, "Hola, Yinzers." Good to see you, Billy. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. You guys, we've been hanging out here for a little bit talking about disasters. Are there any songs we missed that you're dying to talk about? Either one of you guys.
Nothing dying.
Oh yeah, we missed one, a big one that I think we should have been
Keith, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, Keith, go ahead.
Talking to me? I can't believe we
you.
missed 99 Luck Balloons by Nena. It's about nuclear war. The red balloons are nuclear weapons. That's a big disaster. How do we skip that one?
I don't know, and I don't believe it. I think
what
you're
about
full of
Portland disaster? Hey,
I think you're full of poop. I'm kidding you.
That's what the song was about.
If you want to do an instrumental, Respect the Wind by the Van Halen brothers from Twister.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no words to it, but it's at the end of the movie.
It's in the movie Twister, absolutely.
That Storm Warning by Dr. John. That was the early Dr. John stuff in the early 70s. You play guitar on the track. It's instrumental. Just a couple minutes long, but it has that like kind of early surf rock kind of feel. But it's just called Storm Warning. Mm-hmm. And it's Dr. John, so what are you going to do? It's awesome.
Okay, I'll mention one last one before we get out of here. Riders on the Storm by the Doors. Influenced by
That's about a serial killer, though.
Yep, Ida Lupina film Hitchhiker. But it's about it. But there's a storm. Come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
it's a storm, buddy.
Throw me a friggin' bone here, huh? Throw me a bone.
That's not my job.
And not my job description. But they were thinking of ideas for songs. They were listening to a song called Ghost Riders in the Sky. Jim was working on a screenplay for a movie at this time. He used a lot of parts from his screenplay in the lyrics. And the movie is about a hitchhiker who kills people when they pick him up. Kind of like The Hitcher. Do you ever see The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer? The original.
Yeah.
The original with
Yeah,
Rutger. That's great.
That's a great flick. He's also in Nighthawks.
Okay. That's right. He's in Nighthawks.
Which I told you the other day, I can understand if you're going to be realistic about movies, which is never. You're going to tell me that Lando Calrissian, the space pimp himself, and Rocky Balboa, both in that movie, can't stop one terrorist. That's ridiculous. That's what Nighthawks is about, because Rutger Hauer is Wolfgar, that movie. I can't believe they can't stop one terrorist.
The song was also influenced by a lot of hallucinogenic substances.
No way. You're a liar.
Get out of town, Donnie Iris. There's no way that's even true.
Get out of town, Donnie Iris. I love it. That's great. That's
Jim Morrison didn't do drugs.
The quote for today's podcast is, "Get out of town, Donnie Iris." That's the quote. That's the quote. If you remember nothing from today's podcast, check it out. If you guys love great guitar-driven rock and you want to hang out with folks that are really into it, you love this podcast, we're talking about new podcast topics, kicking ideas around, sharing music and everything. You want to go to LouLombardiRocks.com. That's where it's all taking place. And if you want to get truly psychedelic, you want a psychodelic, non-disastrous paint job on your musical instrument, please talk to our good friend Chris Thunderwolf Dodson at wolfcustoms.online. And they have some new merch store, and I don't remember what he called it. But I think if you go to wolfcustoms.online, you can find out about the merch.
You can call it the Wolf's Den. Come into the Wolf's Den.
Come into the Wolf's Den.
Yeah.
And we also have... Lily, you have something going on, right? You have a show.
I have a show on Thursdays, Hot Licks with Lily 6, Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern on Rock Rage Radio. Get the free app or go to rockrageradio.com. And don't forget to come to my show, my 200 show celebration, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, this week at the Subalpine in Turtle Creek,
that?
PA.
Don't name all the bands, but
there's
throw a handful of them.
We've got Smooth Gooch, we've got Horrid Ordeal, Neuroticism, Divine Tragedy. Oh my gosh, I can't think. There's so many bands. Leprosy's playing, so tons of bands for the
Cake's going to be there.
Actual cake to eat is going to be
Cake.
there.
Did you
Not
eat?
the band.
Not
Cake.
the band. I wasn't. I was just teasing.
But
you know who's going to be there? Smooth Gooch. That's all that matters.
Smooth Gooch will be there.
I think we're going to change the name of the band Cake to Eat.
Cake to eat.
You should name the band Gary Coleman and the Gooch.
And there it is.
The Gooch.
But drinks are super cheap there. Great place. Lots of space in the back. There will be food. Good time. So everybody come out and have fun.
Yes.
Celebrate my
I
200 show.
have one question. If I come, would either one of you drive me home?
Of course.
Sorry.
Awesome.
And then we're going to be observing whatever safety precautions we need to.
Yes,
So
please bring your masks, please.
Well, some
we want none of
kind
that
of place you
super
probably wear a
spreader
mask
shit going
anyways.
No, that's not true.
But
But you do want to bring the mask because we don't want to get in trouble.
There's some interesting
Yeah,
characters.
that's a
hang out
super
there.
spreader, everybody. Because last time I heard that word was the Stormy Daniels movie.
Super
But
spreader.
don't make it a super spreader. I'm just saying.
What?
I think we just changed the name of the band to Super Spreader.
Oh, God. You need to stop changing the name of the band.
Well, it's going to be something different next year when we play. We only play once a year, and it's at the Subalpine. That's it. We have a standing gig at the Subalpine once a year.
There you
Once
go.
every
That's all that
November.
matters.
Oh,
man, I'm telling
I
you.
totally forgot. There's going to be vendors, too. There's a lady selling dolls. There's Sissy's jewelry from Metal Chick Jewelry. My sister selling stuff.
Somebody going to be selling
There's
some
food.
condoms.
No condoms. Bring your own condoms.
Will there be
Loose
blowjobs?
throwing
BYOC.
Nixon dimes in the back.
Will there be blowjobs in the bathroom?
You have to bring your own bitch for blowjobs. I'm sorry.
Bring your own blowjob.
This shit's falling off the rails, man.
I know.
Off
I just,
the
you know
rails.
what? I don't give an F. because
Like a crazy train.
Yeah, I'm really off. I am off the rails.
I'm
sorry.
missing other
Mara.
vendors, and I apologize, but there's vendors.
Everybody,
too.
Mara.
Yeah, Subalpine is a very cool place. I'm kidding about you should wear a mask anyways. It was a joke. It's a very cool place. Good rock and roll club, and they built a new stage and everything.
Yeah,
very,
it's beautiful.
Very cool. Very cool. So
Lighting's great. It's gonna be a good time this weekend.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. So check it out this week, all weekend long at the Subalpine in sunny Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania.
Turtle Creek, PA.
Turtle
Plenty
Creek.
of parking.
Plenty of
Home of Butler. The home of Bobby Blotzer.
Legit.
All right, who's Bobby Blotzer?
You know who that is. Stop
All right,
yourself.
so Keith,
You ever heard of a little band called Rat?
I'm teasing you. What do you got? What do you got, Keith? What do you got? Throw me. What's the final word other than go downtown? What'd you say?
Get out of
Wow.
town, Donny Ayers.
Get out of town, Tony Harris.
This
What do you
is
got? Final word. Final word.
M-A-R-A. Mara or Mara, however you want to sound. Make America rock again. That's all you got to do tonight.
That's all we got to do, brothers. Make America rock again.
Say your
Brilliant.
prayers, eat your vitamins, brother.
We're gonna get some vitamins, and we're gonna
Well, thank
carry
you,
on
sir.
for a few minutes. Post podcast, partied up a little bit, talk about what we might do next week. And thank you guys for hanging out. We'll catch you guys all on the next Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.